There you go.
There, I got video now. Okay, it is the 22nd of July, 2021. This is WIKISPEED Standup. Go ahead, Lauren.
Okay, Lauren Salter and sorry a minute. This past week, thinking I don't know that I did anything that I was hoping to. Coming week is going to be the same. Try and do call IRS, talk to Joe, and do the IRS about the reporting, and focus on the tank level. So I received your emails about the tank level, your communications about the tank level.
Good.
Uh, and so I want to go over that in detail.
Okay.
And I think it was, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but the thing about the Arduino download. I got your stuff on Slack about the Arduino download. So I got that information. I'm still backing up and upgrading to 20, and then I'll do the Arduino. But I also watched a couple of videos about working with the Arduino IDE along with and bringing up the ESP32. So and so I have a question about that in crosstalk, but blocks are just things happening still with my kids and me that hopefully I can get removed, some of the blocks removed this week. And that's it for me.
Okay, it's Michael Wolchuk from Saskatoon, Canada. Last week I didn't post a video for stand-up because we didn't have one. The tank level project, I installed the Arduino IDE on Ubuntu 2004. And I made some notes, sent a copy to Lauren. So hopefully that will help his install a little bit. Actually, Snap really helped. It was like literally one line to install the Arduino IDE. Anyway, my Windows laptop did not want to download to the ESP32, so I was basically trying a different computer to see if it was the laptop or the cable or what it was exactly. And it turns out that it was, I don't know, because when it worked on the Ubuntu laptop, I went back and tried it again on the Windows laptop and it worked. So I didn't change USB cables. I didn't change the ESP32. It just worked. So that was very unsatisfying. On the tank level project, I installed my tank level and repeater on the septic tank in my cabin. The tank level program works fine. The serial communications is flaky. So if I keep serial data going back and forth between the two continuously, it works. If I stop for like 2 minutes, then it never ever starts again. So I'm not sure what exactly, there's a timeout somewhere that I haven't found. I've gone through a bunch of videos looking for it and I haven't found it. That's where I'm stuck right now for the tank level project. The ROS review, I went through Circuit Seller 368, 369, 370. So I got all the author's typos fixed in his code. The version that was shown in the magazine had typos. I don't know if the one that you downloaded from the site had typos, but anyway, I finally got all the typos fixed, and it does what it's supposed to do for the first session. The second session, they talk about loading it into a Raspberry Pi. There's a little bit of work to do. You've got to download version Ubuntu Mate 18.04 and write it onto a compact flash so that you plug it into the Raspberry Pi. And I haven't gotten that done yet. But it's very similar to the first set of software. He's just doing it on the Raspberry Pi. And then on the third section of the article, then he goes in and actually makes some changes and is able to control his little car from the laptop or from the camera or whatever. So I'm hopeful to get something done on that next week. At least, well, I am hopeful. I would like to work through the problems with the tank level and repeater, because the serial stuff was supposed to be the easy part. The wireless stuff was supposed to be the hard part, and I'm having trouble with the serial. The Sunfounder Pi is what I'm going to be using for doing ROS. The ROS example had two separate motors, one for left wheel, one for right. So it had steering kind of built in. I'm going to be using the one side or the one command for forward reverse and the other command for turn left, turn right, or leave it centered. So we'll see how that goes, but that's the plan anyway. Blocks, just the serial problems that I'm having on this silly tank level project. And back to you, Lauren.
Okay, cool. So I'll give myself a 3 and the team 9. And I'm going to skip the process improvement for now, but we'll get back to it sometime. That's it for me.
Okay, I'm going to give myself, I think it was a 7. A second, I'm going to scroll down. 8. So 5 out of 6 for points, and then 1 for attending Standup. Team is 7, and no process improvement for this week. Would you like to record crosstalk?
Yeah, it's going to be. It's just about the technical stuff. So what I happen to have that I was upgrading from is a Ubuntu. I think it's Mate. That's the operating system, right? I mean, that's the UI, kind of.
Okay, I didn't know there was an Ubuntu Mate that you could have on a laptop.
Desktop.
Desktop. Maybe the Mate is just like the Noetic or whatever, because Noetic is 2004. So maybe Mate is the previous version.
Yeah, so 1804 is what. Yeah, what I have is on my desktop is 1804, and I'm hoping to upgrade to 20. But maybe I should wait a little bit and finish one.
Well, the Arduino IDE should load onto it. It's just I don't know if you can take the latest one.
Oh yeah, okay. Arduino IDE. Right. Okay. But you were talking about this in connection with the robot operating system?
So the article in Circuit Seller, the Raspberry Pi, that he needed something from Ubuntu Mate, the version 1804. Or maybe that's the last one that has a build available for the compact flash for the Raspberry Pi. I'm not sure why exactly he wanted that.
Right. No, Raspberry Pi is, it's a different,
different build.
It's a different situation. Yeah. So, Yeah, there's a bunch of different options with Raspberry Pi. I've only ever put Raspbian on a long time ago. So, and I have that what is it? 3B plus or something like that.
Yep.
You were
That's
mentioning that one. That's what I have.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one that has the
I,
built-in Wi-Fi that I kind of forgot that I had built-in Wi-Fi, and I've been pissing away a bunch of time trying to get a Wi-Fi adapter to work when I don't have to.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
silly boy.
I did not know it had Wi-Fi either.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're gonna try get your laptop updated, or you're gonna try do the Arduino
Yep.
IDE without doing that, or
You know, I have to back it up first. After I back it up, I'll decide. Do you have any thoughts on it? Leave it as 1804, or since you're talking about flashing something onto the Pi, right?
yeah, the compact flash that you use is kind of like the hard drive on the Pi. There's an
Yeah,
image for Ubuntu 1804 that you basically have to download a utility to copy it onto the compact flash
yeah.
properly.
That's not. Yeah. So my thing is not. I'm going to go ahead with 20. That's not
Okay.
relevant to what goes on the Pi.
Okay.
Stays on the Pi. All right. Okay. Let's see. Um, you actually answered one of my questions, which is what magazine was the thing in, and how long has this ROS been around? Who's involved with the project?
It was in the early 2000s that they came up with it, and it was kind of like most of these open source projects. It's researchers trying to make it so that they didn't have to reinvent the wheel every time they did a robot.
Yeah,
So they came up with like a design of how the software should go together and what services are required, and kind of like a hardware abstraction layer, and then
right.
they build on top of it so you can get to the point where you can drive the hardware fairly quickly, and then you can do the interesting stuff, which is what most of the masters and PhD uh, projects are on, is what you do with the robot, whether you're doing
Right.
mapping or driving or whatever.
Cool.
So the version 1, if I guess they stopped using it like 2018, 2019. So there's a version 2, but apparently it's a little bit more complicated. And uh, the guy that wrote the article said it's easier to teach people on version 1. So that's what he's using. It's still
Oh,
supported.
interesting. Right. Right.
So
Cool. Okay. So then the other thing is, if I were to order a ESP32,
mhm.
should I clone? Should I get exactly what you got?
there is
There.
there's not a lot of difference between the ESP32s. It seems to boil down to how many of the pins they bring out, and what the pin numbers are. So
Right.
the transmit and receive for the serial are always called GPIO 3 and 4, I think they are.
Yeah. Right. Right. So there's there's GPIO numbers rather than just the numbering that
Mm-hmm.
specific to the hardware. And so
So then you look
if you
at the
program with the
translation.
GPIO
Yeah, you
numbers,
have to look at the mapping for the ESP32 that you get, and that will tell you, okay, well, GPIO 3 is actually pin number 8 or 9 or whatever it
right,
is.
right,
So
right,
that seems to be the big differences. The support on the Arduino IDE is actually pretty good. Uh, it seems to have a whole bunch of different options. You can do data logging. You can have some portion of the memory, not EEPROM, but whatever it's called, um, is um, is allocated for over-the-air updates. and another part can be allocated for data logging, and then another part is for holding the actual program. So it's pretty neat.
Cool.
But it's got Wi-Fi
Yeah.
and Bluetooth and
Yeah.
the various communication protocols kind of all supported.
Yeah. Now I remembered more this week in the process of looking at those ESP32 videos. I learned about it. Basically why people want it, because from China. It includes a bunch of stuff that you don't get with the older boards, and there's a lot of people marketing different ESP32s. Like there's Adafruit has a thing called a Feather.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could, have you posted somewhere exactly what model and manufacturer you bought? Because I'm going to make a decision.
I bought 2 different ones, and I have probably a third one sitting in my Amazon basket.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to matter. I tried one that it was 2 of them for the price, a little bit lower the price than if you got individually. I ended up sending it back because one of them wouldn't download. The little button that you push in order to download didn't work. The other one worked. I tried 2 or 3 different computers and different USB cables and stuff, and what it looked like was the button was broken. So,
Right. Interesting. Really, really interesting.
The quality control on these things is not like horribly awesome.
Lucky that you had two the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you could have been wondering if it's hardware or whatever.
Well, and there were other people like when you buy stuff from Amazon, they send you questions from other customers, and can you answer this question? And somebody said, I'm trying this and it just won't work. And I said, look, I got one that worked and one that didn't. You might have got both that didn't work. Just send them back, and they'll give you your money back, right?
So. Right. Okay, and then the third one, you tried to pick one. So now you sent back one or both of the 2.
I had to send back both. They wouldn't do a return on one of them.
That's not good customer service. Why would they do that?
I don't know, but they sent a little mailer thing, and they not a mailer. They sent me a label. They said put it back into the original pouch, and just slap this on top of the on top of the old, and away it went. So worked
Did you
okay.
Get your money back yet?
Oh, I got my money back. Yeah, I had to have gotten it back before they actually received it, because it was going down to the U.S. and it only took like 3 days for me to get the return authorization.
Great. And so now but do you still, okay, besides the one in the cart, did you order some different ones? ESP32s.
Give me a second. I will go into my orders.
So my question is, do you have any of them in your possession right now?
I have 3 ESP32s from 2 different vendors.
Right. Yeah, so I'd be interested in if you recommend any particular ones at this point.
Yeah, really, it's not that I recommend it. It's just that these ones happen to work, right?
Right. So you're going to have 3 different kinds, which is cool. Yeah, so I will get one, and so if you have any advice, I'll get that one. And so the 2-for-1 wasn't a great deal after all.
The 2-for-1 would have been a good deal had they both worked. It just it took me or it cost me some time. That's all. Okay, so if I copy that link address, and I should have.
I prefer email, not Jitsi
Okay.
chat.
I will then send it an email. Okay. And that should be on its way to you.
Okay. I think I was watching I kind of subscribed to Adafruit, and I think I was watching a thing, and they were talking about that feather, and I wondering they have this thing that I bought. I didn't buy the assembled one when I should have. It's a T shape, and the cobbler.
Yep.
I think it sounded like they might have something similar for the ESP32, but I'm not sure.
The ESP32 is, if you remember the old dip style chips,
Right.
that's what it looks like. So it's actually a circuit board that's, this big. And then it has pins on it and it fits into a breadboard. And then it's got a whole bunch of ICs and stuff on it. They're all tied together. So
Right.
for a hobbyist, you just plug it into a breadboard and then you run the little wires and you're good to go.
It's already doing it. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is really nice.
You can buy a version that doesn't have the pins on it, but believe it or not, they're actually more money.
They cost more for bizarre people who want to do their own pins.
When we were talking about soldering things on, it's easier to solder on when there's no pin in the way, right? So I found something. Right, yeah. I found one that didn't have pins on it, but I mean, with the quantities they must sell, it turns out it's more money. It's weird.
Okay. Cool. And anyways, that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. So, and I'm making some progress. What I'm really doing is actually, yeah. Let's end the thing now, okay. And I have like 30 seconds to talk.
All right. We'll hit the button.